Hi, and welcome to the Women's Cut. I'm Jay. That's C-Way. Let's get started. How you doing today, friend?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. I feel like I always say that when I come on here. I'm always tired.
You know
But yeah,
what?
I'm good.
Life be lifing, and sometimes that's just enough for us to be tired, and that's fine.
I feel like if you're a girl, you're tired. We're always tired.
Listen, you always got something to do, something to prove. So I feel that 100%. So let's
Yes.
get started with the cutting room floor. This week in the W, the games have been actually pretty decent. Couple of
Yeah.
upsets. Um, my mystic, what you call young and turn, doing what they need to do. Marina and Slim, going off for 30 plus. Doing what we said Toronto's going to do, which is score a lot of points and not really play defense. How have you liked the games this week?
I definitely feel for look, we're still in the beginning couple of I think week 2, right? You said week 2.
Yeah.
And it I wouldn't say it feels like playoff weeks, but I think all of the teams know that like you don't want to drop a game in 44 games. Like you want to pick up as many games as you can because you don't know how injuries are going to work and how they're going to be. And it seems like nobody in the W, none of the teams in the W are taking these games for granted. And so it's definitely been an interesting week. What's been most interesting though, it was yesterday, the Indiana Fever took on the Portland Fire, but last minute, like as fans are coming to the stadium in Indianapolis, the Indiana Fever noted that Caitlin Clark was going to be out, which is against league policy. The policy is the day before by 5 p.m. local time of the game, the team has to provide some type of status about the player's injury. And Caitlin Clark actually was not playing in practice, and she was never listed as questionable or anything like that. And so, yeah.
I'm not surprised that she was out. That back has been backing for a couple of days. The doctor says she needs a bacchiotomy quite clearly because for the last couple of days, notably, she was in a press conference stretching. I think I sent you that video, and I was like, I've never seen this. I've been watching sports religiously since I was 10 years old, so I'm 31 years in the game, and I have never seen a player actively stretching sitting at a table during a press conference.
Yeah.
The game after that, so that was 2 games ago. The game after that, she was hitting warm-ups with the back brace. And every time she came to the bench, she got a back brace on. So it's not surprising to me that she's out. What is surprising is that she wasn't just listed as questionable, because questionable means she could or she can't.
Right. And then it's the conflicting reports coming out of the Fever organization. At first, a beat reporter for the Fever, Scott, reported that this was some type of load management. Later, when Coach Stephanie White was asked, she said, no, it's not load management. It was a last minute injury. And I'm not sure what's going on with the Fever, and I'm trying not to be too hard on them, but I definitely feel like they need to get their transparency up. Because I understand there's a very tricky dynamic between having a player on your team that a lot of the fans are just coming to see her, right? Mm-hmm. That does exist in Indiana, and there's money tied to her, but also fans in the league and everything related to the games deserves transparency. And I don't think you can toe the line there. They didn't really say everything that was going on with Leah Boston. She was back, had 24 points last night, 8 rebounds. And then now Caitlin Clark is out the last minute. That type of, mistrust with your fan base, I just think it leaves room for people to start adding things.
Yeah.
Now people are saying it's because she may be out because she's being disciplined for the viral clip that went viral of her disrespecting her assistant coach, or what appeared to be disrespecting her assistant coach and yelling at her assistant coach January, a WNBA legend, right? that went viral and people are putting that together. Some people are saying that, it was last minute. The family was in the audience. I heard things, says she was last minute. I'm hearing all types of things. But the reality is people are going to piece together things unless the organization comes out and tries to be a little bit more transparent. And it could be that they don't know what's going on with her back. It could be that she doesn't know fully what's going on with her back. But fans of the Fever already dealt with her being out all last season, pretty much.
Yeah.
If they're going to be interested again, you got to tell them.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I also agree that it could be both things. It could be injury and load management. I think that it's smart. So you're not a fan of baseball, but I'm going to use a baseball analogy. When a pitcher gets injured, when they come back, they're on a pitch count. So normally, on average, a pitcher can go between 90 to 120 pitches, depending on the type of pitcher. There's a lot of variation there. But let's say 100 is what your goal is. When they first come back or when they first start, their pitch count is 70. Mm-hmm. If she needs to be, and we've seen this in basketball before, where there's a minute restriction, maybe she does have to rest every other game. I don't know, but I agree with you in that it needs to be more transparent.
If she's a person that has chronic issues and chronic injuries and is not healthy, then the fan base will fully understand that sometimes she's going to be resting. Sometimes that she's going to have things that pop up that ail her and give her problems. That is not the messaging here. It's not messaging that she has chronic issues. She's going to have chronic issues with her back, things like that. And I think that's the problem. Yeah. If she's going to be, if it's reported once they find out that she's perhaps dealing with a back issue, and it could, I don't know if it's linked to anything that happened last year. I'm not sure. I just think they probably need to make that clear, because the more confusion, especially with WNBA Twitter, WNBA fans, they're running with things. And that's what they're going to do.
Before we move on to the next topic, I have a question for you. Do you think that they are might be protecting her? The reason I say that is because she has an injury history, and maybe they don't want to come out and say that she's injured, because that has been a recurring storyline for detractors for the last year, for the last 2 years. Her first 2 seasons is her injury history. So do you think that this might be kind of smoke and mirrors as a way to protect her?
I definitely feel like organizations do the best they can to protect their star player, not just for her, but for them. Mm-hmm. I just think it's not working. The method that they're going about it is causing more confusion and questions than not. If they would have just said, I think she tweaked her back at the last game that went into double overtime, or, she tweaked her back a little bit, so right, we're going to rest her. She's questionable out of precaution. I think people would have been like, okay, cool. She tweaked her back. She did something odd. But when you make it mysterious and people have to ask, right? And then the reporters on the ground are not also bringing up that she was out of practice and why, right? Mm-hmm. She was out of practice. She wasn't participating in practice. Why she wasn't? I think that just it does more harm than good. They're going to have to get their messaging in order, and consistent messaging.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Going from one injury to another, in the game, legitimately, the game right after this, the Sky are without a star.
Right.
I feel like often, and I say this as a Chicago fan, I feel like often we're cursed. So I'm not a Cubs fan, but there was the curse of the Billy Goat for the longest time, where the Cubs couldn't win. And then when the White Sox didn't win, it was the curse of shoeless Joe Jackson, and them fixing the World Series. I feel like sometimes the organization just has this air over it where everything they touch turns to dust. And I feel like that's where we are with the Sky right now.
Yeah, I got to tell you, if the Sky does have either self-imposed bad juju or just a bad juju over them, I am mighty sorry that any of it touched Rickea Jackson. I got to say that, because this going into the season, it almost seemed a little bit too good to be true. You trade Angel and everyone was prepared for the sky to crumble. You build a team that Angel was asking for. You bring in all of these players and, you know, on paper, the sky looked really competitive. And then Rickea, already looking to have a breakout year, is already doing well in the first couple of games that she has. And she goes down with barely any contact. It's absolutely devastating, especially for her personally. I don't care what team Rickea Jackson is on. A lot of people were rooting for her individually to really stand out, do well, shine, get a fresh start, show everybody what she can do, be an all-star. People wanted that for her. And the road back from an ACL injury is
rough.
Tough. It's tough. And so I just hope she feels supported as she deals with this. But as far as the Sky go, they just lost to the Dallas Wings 89-99. Camila Cardozo looked really good with some two-man action between her and Skylar Diggins. Towards the end of the game, the defense was lacking a bit. They were strong defensively in the first half, and the defense was lacking a bit. It's still hard to put a pin on. I don't know how you feel with what the Sky are going to look like. Having Dejanay and Azzi back, I think they will look good, but the timeline for Dejanay is not soon, I don't believe. And Azzi,
is there a timeline for Azzi?
Huh?
Is there a timeline for Azzi?
So Tyler Marsh was on record saying, you know, when asked could she be back this week, he said he sure hopes so. I don't know what that means. But Azzi could be back this week, next week, 3 weeks from now. I'm not sure. And no one's even talking about Sue's timeline. So for me, I don't know how you feel. I'm going to judge the Sky on what I see now, because I can't deal with this player, that player over there. They come back. I can't deal with that. These players don't even have timelines. You know what I'm saying? We don't even have definite timelines. So we're looking at what I'm looking at right now. They were competitive in that Dallas Wings game, but I think they just didn't have enough to close defensively to me. And so they end up losing.
The issue is they don't have depth at forward. They have depth at guard, but guard is injured. So right now they're working with no depth. And I said this to you, we watched this game together yesterday, and I said this to you then, is that this team is built for a first round playoff out.
Yeah.
They'll be consistent enough to get to the playoffs, but I don't know if they're consistent enough to be able to make it through a series. And that's honestly what the issue is here. I don't know if this team is built to win a series. If they were at full strength and Rickea doesn't have an injury and Dejanay is playing and Azzi is being Azzi, absolutely, because you have, even though a lot of you have Dejanay, you have Big Mama Walk 'em Down, who are excellent defensive players. Jaquez, I don't know. She tries really hard though, so she's not necessarily a liability. Like, you can be okay defensively, but what we saw in the game yesterday is that defense that Dallas had at the very end was just too much for them. When they took Liuru off the bench, it was too much because a majority of Camilla's points came in the first half when Liuru was benched.
Right.
All she needed was size against her, and it definitely disrupted what she was doing. I actually think Camilla has improved a lot this season. I think that she's making better decisions as far as her shot selection. I wish that she would go. It's not her personality. She's not rough and tumble. That's not. She's not going to give you aggression. She's not. I don't know if she's going to take over a game, but she's good at being in the positions that she's supposed to be in. She's good at passing out when she needs to pass out. And she's
great hands.
She has great hands. She has great footwork. The issue is her intensity.
Her motor.
Is she going to be able, The thing that Angel had was if Angel needed to take over a game and needed to amp up her intensity, she was able to do that. And other than Skylar, when Skylar's on the bench, who do you have? Yeah, okay, Cloud, but Cloud complains more than she gets intense. So where are we? Where is that coming from? And I think Skylar deserves better, honestly. Like maybe she can get that out of them. Maybe she can get that aggression out of them because she's known for doing that. So
I did love the minutes between her. I love the minutes between her and Camilla. I do think Camilla is one of those people where she does have a motor if she stays involved and engaged. Mm-hmm. And Skylar is a point guard. Point guard to me, old school point guard, but that can score as well. And her ability to get Camilla the ball, I think was great. And I love the energy that Camilla had in those moments. But, you know, I don't think it's a secret that her motor is not always there. And so that's not always something that you can rely on. But I do think with a real point guard out there, you do see a difference. When Skylar was not, you know, Skylar was out a couple of those games with the eye, you know, she was out of game with the eye. But her being back, you did see a difference. I do think defensively they had Aisha out there, and the poor Rook was getting bodied by Jessica Shepard. I do love her offensively, but she had her welcome to the W moment, girly. I mean, you was doing your best, girl. I'm proud of you. But Jessica Shepard was definitely giving you your welcome to the W. They just need.
Gabriella got a bright future though. Like I'm on record as saying it was questionable choice to me. I take it back. That was a good draft pick.
I was talking about Aisha, not Gabby.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I like Jaquez. I think that she does exactly what she's supposed to do. She's generally where she needs to be. Yeah. And I'm a fan of that draft pick. She had a good game yesterday.
I think both of the Rooks look great offensively. I just think defensively they got into a lot of trouble. I think some of that is adjusting to the way the games are being called now. Yeah. And I think even Skylar said in the post game, it's going to be a defensive effort. A lot of these teams that you're going to see from now on can put the ball in the basket. The way the Sky are constructed, they have people that can put the ball in the basket. It's going to be playing smart, good team basketball. And with this roster, I do believe there's still a first round exit. And I think they could probably make it to the playoffs. But
this is still a forward. This is a forward. You're only as good as your forwards.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your forwards in this league. And we've seen that. We saw that with Minnesota. They were prime. It was prime. And then Fee went down. We see this with the Aces. They added Liz, and yes, you have Asia, yes, but Liz made her job easier. This is still a league of forwards, and you have to have a team where you have more than one.
Funny enough, this team with Angel,
let's not talk about it.
This team constructed with Angel.
Let's not talk about it. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. Where I don't.
That's the irony. This team with Angel would have been a nasty team.
I don't even want to talk about it.
That's the irony of it all.
Talk about it.
The jig is, the deal is done, and it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But I gotta say, the irony is, this team with Angel would have been nasty boots. It would have been a good. Would have been
rebounds and 4.5 assists a game.
They would have had the defensive effort. They would have had everything. Can you imagine Angel playing with Jaquez, who knows where to cut, knows where to go? Just
can you imagine with Angel again playing with? So now, if you have Angel on this team, Camilla's point production would be crazy because her point production already went up with Angel was on the team, and now it can go up even more because you don't have people sitting inside because they have to recognize the perimeter scoring. They didn't have to recognize perimeter scoring last year. So you could have 3-4 people in the paint, but we're not going to talk about it, friend.
Could have had Rickea pre-injury at the 3.
We could have had it all. roll, and now we're rolling in the deep. That's exactly what we're doing.
Could have had Skylar at the 1. You could have put Tasha at the 2.
Following
You could have put Hawkheads at the 2. I don't care. It don't matter.
It's very corporate America. Following somebody else's advice and then letting them go, that's 100% very corporate.
That's why they say don't be giving all your good tea in that exit interview, because Angel gave all her good tea, all her suggestions, and they took it, said, they were like, okay, you going to Atlanta, I'm gonna take all your feedback and I'm gonna apply it next year. Ain't that about a bitch? Ain't that? But you took the tea, but you're missing the sauce, because honestly, if you would have did that with her there, the team as it's presently constructed would have 8 down with Angel. And basketball heads know that, but we're moving on.
Speaking of the other half of that game, the other half of that game, which was the Dallas Wings, and we talked about how Culleby was quite exposed. Welcome to the W. She went up against a juggernaut in Shepard, who got the first triple-double of the WNBA season behind 12 assists. Baby girl had 12 assists, 10 boards, 19 points, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's about time we have that conversation about Jessica Shepard. I'm compiling an ethical hoops list. Actually, ironically, Maddie is also on. 2 people from the Dallas Wings. I should add Paige, okay? Another ethical hoops, but I haven't officially added her yet.
Paige is a different.
When I add her on Twitter, then she'll be on the list, but she's unofficially. But Dallas officially has 2 people on the Seaways ethical hoops list page to come soon. And Jessica Shepard has been recently added to that list. Not only does she do all the small things defensively, to have a forward have 12 assists, then you grab 10 rebounds, then you scoring too. And that just shows that some people always had the juice, always had the smoke. I remember when she was on Minnesota, and I said, I don't know why Jessica's hanging in the wings, but she's a dog. And now that she's on Dallas, and you can see it even more now.
It was a very AT game. It reminded me very much of your favorite player. Because
maybe that's why I love the game. It was yes.
It was a very AT game. Like, you didn't know what she was. It was the game when forwards can play that way and you have no idea what they're going to do. As a defensive player, that's a dangerous place to be in. I don't know if she's going to kick it out. I don't know if she's going to drive up to the paint. I don't know if she's going to crash the boards and go straight up or kick that out. When you're on your toes like that as a defense, that makes the game so much harder, especially when they are shorthanded in the paint. They just did not have an answer for her.
They didn't. And you know who else they didn't have an answer for? Azzi Fudd. A lot of people was crying on Twitter, crying on X, doing think pieces. And I what did we say? We said she's fine. She just needs to get in rhythm. Azzi Fudd had a quiet 12 points. But baby girl, the people's princess was 2 from 3, didn't miss, 4 and 6 from the field. And it wasn't just like she said, Azzi is not just a stand in the corner shooter. You have to watch Azzi when she takes that 2-3 dribble pull up. It's cash.
And then off the screen, she was lethal off that screen. Now look, Lee Uru, we had this conversation about Lee Uru being on the bench.
Yes.
Lee Uru might give you a random travel from time to time again, but her ability to pass her guards open, to set screen, her screen passing, her positioning is excellent.
Yeah.
She didn't have a lot of points that game, but she was a difference maker in that game. And I hope that and obviously, here's the thing, and I will give their coach some credit, because he said this. He said, we need unselfish ball, because not every game is going to be your game. The game plan has to change based on your 6'7", got to be against 6'6". Yeah. That's the only way you can play against a Camilla. When you're playing a smaller team, you can play down on that. Yeah. You don't have to necessarily play like when they played the Dream. They didn't have to play Lee Uru. That wasn't necessary because that's not the team you're playing. Yeah. I just want us. I love a rotation that's different depending on what your personnel that you're playing against. I absolutely love that. I think he coached really well yesterday. He's had some questionable things that have happened in previous games, but yesterday was a really well coached game. And Azzi shot is Azzi shot is the prettiest shot in the W.
I have ever, honestly, her and Klay Thompson, who's on my list, them two, they just have a beautiful shot. But I do want to underscore, I want to echo that and kind of wake that up. I think the Dallas Wings have a team that, and I said this earlier, if they can really play unselfishly on the court and off the court, to, like you said, realizing which matchups are for them, this is a team that if they keep a positive attitude, they have the depth for anybody that they come up against. Because like you said, Lee Yuru got more. She had 20 minutes in this game. Maddie Siegrist, though, only had 7 minutes. And I'm not sure if Maddie was injured or what the situation was, or it just wasn't her game. But I feel like that was a perfect trade-off where we've seen more time from Queer. We've seen more time from Maddie in the past. And they both did not get that many minutes in this game because it wasn't their game. As well as Alicia Clark didn't see that many minutes. But I think when they play different type of teams, you're going to see more minutes from them. What we did see is that Paige Beckers and Rickea are going to be at the court at all times. Both amazing games. Paige had 24 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, ethical, efficient, disgusting. I loved it. Rickea, 23 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists.
But Rickea was the difference.
Like, the highlight show.
Listen, when they needed a basket, as soon as Chicago thought they was gonna get back in here come Rickea with a 3. I was like, Rickea,
yeah,
you ain't have to do like that. But this goes back to your point in that it doesn't matter if Azzi is starting. A starter is a starter. Yes, it's great. You can have your name on the stat sheet first. It doesn't matter. You're going to get your minutes. We had a very good post based on our conversation last week where in the comments, people are arguing over she should be starting. But why? Somebody literally said, well, she's getting more minutes than the starting. So does it matter if she's starting or not? If you're going to get your minutes, if you're going to contribute, if your team is going to win, then that's all it needs. But I do.
It's a strategy, just like with Kennedy. You throw an Azzi Fudd and a Kennedy against people's second wing. That's a nasty strategy.
Yep.
And having Odyssey in the beginning, a very calm, cool, collected veteran, settle the pace, the nerves. You have her in the beginning. If Odyssey is doing well, she may play more. If you want more shooting, more things like that, Azzi is also great on defense. You may have Azzi in there. They're worried about the wrong thing. Same way people worried about where you get drafted, what number you get drafted. Now there's money tied to it, so I get it, and protections. But outside of the lottery,
right,
you need to go where
people are like the number 1 draft pick should play, not when you're drafted by a good team. This is a different situation. Dallas was bad last year, but then they 100% retooled. So if I retool into a good team, I'm not drafting for need. I'm drafting for want. It doesn't matter who they drafted first. First of all, they were never going to draft Olivia Miles because who are you going to, unless you're just committed to playing Paige at the 2. But I don't know if there's enough ball going around between Olivia Miles, Rickea, and Paige for that to work in general. They're never going to draft her. If they drafted Lauren Betts, she would. Who is she starting above? Maybe she is starting, but you paid Maddie. You have Shepard. So you still have a lot of depth there. I don't know.
This team is perfect. This team is perfect the way it is.
I don't know if there's anybody that they would have drafted that would be starting how this is set up. Unless you're going to go, and not saying that it was necessarily successful because Jeff was doing what he had to do last year with injury and all that other stuff, but having a different lineup every game. And that level of inconsistency is not helpful. So it's like, what y'all want? And I also want to say, Azzi, this is what I also want. I once she gets in her bag, because I told you there's going to be a game where she's just in her bag. I want her celebration. I don't want the 3. I want her to fix her crown. Like I want that to be her celebration. I just want, and then you could do it with the 3. Like fix it with the 3.
I have never seen that. Are you making that up?
I've never seen it before. And so, Azzi, you can have it. I don't even.
Hold on, Azzi. This is the Selly.
Just fix that crown, baby.
We're gonna clip it and add you. This is your Sully.
That's what we want.
That easy sound. We love it.
I'm just saying, people's princess. I just
Princess.
know the game is coming where she gets in her bag because that shot is too pretty. And when they saw that shot fall, what I'll say about everybody on that court is they was like, get her the ball. Everybody was assisting. So I really appreciate it. And Dallas is coming together. They had me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Dallas, what are we doing?
Wait, do I like this? Three?
With the three.
Whatever. I love that.
You can have it, Azzi. You can have it. We got you.
From the women's cut. Okay, what else we got?
So we'll stick to basketball. I asked you earlier about your team, the Knicks, because I personally am rooting for the Knicks because I want Spike Lee to get his ring. That has nothing to do with anybody who was playing on the court. But if the Knicks win anything, I damn near feel like Spike should get a ring before the team at this point.
I do think he should be in the celebration.
I don't know if Toronto let Drake get a ring, totally don't roll your eyes. I don't care if Toronto let Drake get a ring. If Spike don't get a ring, it's a problem. But it's going to be very difficult because it's a 90% chance that whoever wins the Oklahoma versus Spurs series
is probably gonna win it all. Yeah. I gotta say though, Knicks are up one. That's great. I'm waiting out the whole series. I want to see if the Knicks got the cojones to actually pull this one off. If they do, I'll talk.
Dan been playing like crazy, so
great. He's the queen by his side. But I am very excited about this OKC. This OKC Spurs series is more WNBA light to me. We're getting plays. We're getting aggression. We're not getting 3-point jacking. We're getting Wemby's fighting for his life. Shay telling people to calm down. I'm sorry if you haven't seen Calm the F Down. The aura that Shay had when he told Jared McCain to calm down. I know why they hate OKC. I know why they're mad. I know why they're mad amongst other things.
Is it a more fun series to you, or are you just not watching the Knicks because they get on they agitate you?
I just think the level of passion that Wemby has behind not winning the MVP and just the kind of aura behind OKC and then being young and turn annoying, the refs, people thinking the refs are in their bag. Like the energy behind this series it really, really makes you lock in. It is unfortunate, though, that Jalen Williams re-injured that hamstring, and so they're going to be without him. But the depth that OKC has is pretty good. But I'm excited.
If they win, this will be the first back-to-back in a while.
Yeah, I think in a while.
Since who? Golden State?
They had a back-to-back a long time ago. I think it's been different people.
Has it been? I don't know. I'm not up on I even though we ain't got a chat right now. Chat.
Right. Don't quote me.
No, don't like I'm not up on the stats. It's not football. I'm not up on the stats, but I do know that it's been a minute. I know Boston had a good chance of repeating and didn't. So I'm definitely it's definitely nice to watch good basketball, especially when the Bulls are your home team. So,
for sure. Moving off of basketball, where are we taking our talents to, and where should they be taking their talents to?
Oh, you guys, for one glorious month in summer, we are going to cover baseball in Springfield. Because the Women's Professional Baseball League is kicking off their inaugural season. I'm extremely excited about this. As you know, I'm a baseball girl. My mom is who made me a baseball girl. So we were already planning on going down. My sister was really excited. She don't really like baseball. She just like going to games and eating all the snacks. Which is always a good time, but to be able to see Monet and who and all of the other girls that we're going to meet during the course. I'm very excited to be able to cover that, and bring it to the cut.
Yeah, and hopefully get their stories and talk to the players and bring, highlight what the league is doing. That's really exciting. So we're excited to cover. And the good news is that tickets have officially dropped for the league. And so if you are in the Midwest, Chicago, St. Louis, Indiana, hell, if you got you can fly in. That is where they're going to be playing, and we will definitely be there. I have not been back to Springfield since I was a young tot before I went to law school, and I was working for the governor's office as a legislative affairs Dunn fellow. Okay. And so that was a couple of governors ago.
I was gonna say that had to be a while ago. But if y'all gonna go to Springfield, you definitely need to make them accommodations now, because it's like 2.5
hotel. It's not Chicago. So if you're going there thinking it's Chicago, the Women's Cut told you here first. It ain't that.
No, go get your Airbnbs. Go because it's you're gonna have to stay about right outside of there, because them hotels is scant.
Think small town, Midwest. Think that. Don't think Chicago, please.
So not really sports related, but there is somebody that we wanted to throw in the cut today, and that is Dr. in quotation marks,
Miss Cheyenne Bryant. I don't know why you got that doctor up there.
I put it in quotations, friend.
That's still too much, because it ain't under question no more.
You the same. Listen, if Dr. Pepper can be a doctor, then so can Cheyenne Bryant.
You're right. We all live in our own realities.
You know what I'm saying? It could be a figurative doctor.
Yeah.
I had to make sure I tried to make it wide. I was like, let me show my degrees so people don't think that I'm out here perpetrating. Let me show my degrees, baby.
But yeah, we're putting Dr. Miss Cheyenne Bryant in the cut today, because although she's not related to sports, I think the importance of credibility and being honest, especially as we track through this very uncharted territory in America nowadays, is very important for people of color, Black people in particular, minorities, and people in marginalized groups of people to know who they can trust, who they can go to as we deal with troubles with our mental health, dealing with today's society, financial issues, mental health issues. And if you're not familiar, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who's been going by Dr. Cheyenne Bryant since 2018, has been portraying herself as a doctor, a life coach, and also saying that she was at some point licensed mental health professional, taking clients who have since come forward saying that she did not do a good job. I think some have reported that they've actually reported her in the sessions that they've had, and she would have gone undetected if she didn't decide to go on the worst book tour I've ever seen, amongst the Joe Budden podcast, The Breakfast Club, being very cocky and arrogant, saying things like the only importance of licensure is to bill insurance, and being very haughty and hooty-tooty, whatever it is about her situation. Hoity-toity, thank you.
Look, I got you. English major here, I got you.
And English is not, I'll be saying English is not my first language, but it is. I know all these other languages.
You be leaning on that all the time, baby.
Look, I can't be projecting that I got a English degree. But yeah, thank you. Hoity-toity. I'm like, what is it? That's just not cool. And so because she went around saying these things, people finally got the cojones to go and dig into it and actually talk about it. And they realized that she does not have, not only is she not a doctor, she said that she had multiple doctorates. She has 0. Right. Her dissertation is nowhere. And she also then trying to clear things up on the Breakfast Club, saying that, it's because her university that she attended, Argosy University, in Georgia.
You made that sound so much nicer than it is. It's just
Argosy.
It's Argosy.
Argosy sounds so much better.
Don't it sound better?
Yeah, Argosy, because they closed down because they were for-profit school, that she couldn't get her transcripts. And they have since said, nah, baby, you can get your transcripts even though we're closed down. She still has access. So I say all that to say she's in the cut because pathological liars are dangerous, but they're very dangerous to marginalized groups of people in the field that she was lying about.
Yeah.
If she was lying about she has a doctorate in building houses, I mean, not saying that's not important. It's important if she's building your house. So maybe that's not even a good idea.
No, no. You're correct, because if somebody was like, I have a degree in engineering and they're building your house, and you find out they got no damn degree, I don't want to live in that house because it's gonna fall down. So
yeah, I really, off the top of my head, I can't even come up with a doctorate that I'm just throwing away right now, because every doctorate, a lot of the doctorate subjects are important. Like even if she had a doctorate in space and this and that.
Yeah. The doctorate part of it is extremely, first of all, it's not just a doctorate, because when you're, yes, it is, but psychology is a science.
Right.
And you have to learn those things. And it's also the research that you do about, behind it. One of my sorority sisters just, shout out Vanessa, just finished her PhD. And I know the amount of work that she put into getting that doctorate, on top of having a full-time job, on top of being, she's with the market on the marketing team, on top of being all of those things, she's putting in the work behind the scenes. Then she has to go and write. Then she has to go and defend her dissertation. And then she gets to graduate. You don't get to just shortchange it and say, I got it. You know, as somebody who is in an organization, I don't like perpetrators.
No.
And that's really the issue. And I told you this legitimately right before we started this recording, is that I went to, my second degree is from the same for-profit group of schools that she went to, and I'm sitting here with my degree, even though that school does not have buildings anymore. That's fine. My second degree is exactly from the same place, and I can sit here and I can show you mine. I did the work. So, girl, just do the work. Just do the work.
Yeah, just do the work. And I think there's something really scary when you are faced with when you're confronted with this amount of lies. The choice to double down, I think, is very scary. And I think it's very problematic. It's one thing that you ran with a lie, but once you're actually caught, the choice to still keep going, I think, is the diabolical part. And that's the part that everyone needs to be afraid about. I'm sure there's a couple of people that done ran with the lie or two. You got away with it and you keep it up. But you're faced with the lies. It's time to own up. And yeah, like Jay said, it's the hard work, right? I put in the hard work for me being an attorney, right? I put in the hard work for my doctorate. But that's not even the main point. It's not even just the work. It's the fact that having the work is proof that you have a basic understanding of the concepts that you were speaking on. And even if she wasn't a doctor, even if she had a master's level programming, which that's not even proven, and she decided to be licensed, then at least she's working under a license. She not only does not have her doctorate, she's not licensed, which means even at a master's level, she didn't go try to pursue licensure. And so at that point, you're just not qualified to be speaking on any of the things that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And if you just wanted to be a life coach, there was no reason to do any of this. You can be a life coach and not have any of these things. And
you can get one of my best friends is a life coach, and she has a certificate, given she also has 2 master's degrees and a bachelor degree.
Right.
But she also has a certificate in being a life coach, because there's ways to get certified for that as well. Just calling yourself a life coach does not make you a life coach. But the grift is real. You know what I'm saying? Her and Tiffany Hayward is really perpetuating these grifts.
And it's dangerous.
States and all other stuff. And it's extremely dangerous because people act as if mental health is not health. Like, mental health is health. That somebody can come to a mental health professional on the worst day of their lives when they're thinking of taking their lives, and that mental health professional can stop that from happening. If you are not gifted with the tools in your toolbox because you have learned how to combat certain things, it's very difficult to do that as a job. And it's just, of all of the jobs to pretend that you have a degree for,
this is one of the worst.
That's one of the worst. I mean, it's not as bad as like Dr. Love, who was actually doing like procedures and stuff.
But it's up there.
But it's up there. But it's up there.
So I hope this is a lesson learned from everybody. Don't do this.
Don't perpetrate, y'all.
It's already hard enough for us to have faith, you know, especially in minority communities, to have faith in the people that we're choosing, whether you're seeking medical advice, legal advice, mental health advice, whether you need a realtor. You know, they're scamming there too. Real estate, people pretending to be real estate agents.
Real estate agent,
yeah.
y'all.
All of that is
difficult.
Yeah, all of that is dangerous and has very serious consequences. And for the people who think this is just a minor thing, it's not. And we talk about sports, but sports touches all types of things. And touching on perpetuating something this serious is always going to bother me.
And I would also like to state before anybody says, hey, y'all are talking heads and you don't need a degree to talk on podcasts. You definitely don't, right? But I'm a writer. Seaway is a lawyer. She is a writer. That's what lawyers do. So even though we're sitting here on a podcast, you're looking at 4 degrees. So come on, y'all. Don't overrepresent yourself for who you are, because you can do all of these things and not have a degree and be honest about it.
Right.
That's all it is.
Well, look, we only put one person in the cut, and if she's mad, I don't give a darn, because we are the least of her worries. She needs to be worried about the different organizations and licensing boards.
Worried about jail time, probably.
Yeah, who are likely to come at her sooner than later for nearly a decade of lies. But look, just be happy, y'all, that you made the cut. Until next week. Bye.
Follow us everywhere.
Yes, please follow us.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.